All right, how is everyone doing? I am Rich Celenza. Thanks for tuning in to the Rich Celenza Show. WTF are you talking about? So what I want to call this podcast is confidence is everything if you want to be elite. So I teach a Mastering Self-Confidence program out there. You can check it out if you'd like. It's masteringselfconfidence.com. And I basically try to help men find the woman or women of their dreams, even if they've been through a bad breakup or divorce. I also help them with hygiene, fitness, all different things, working out, dating, all these type of things, because I want to just help guys in any way I can become more confident. That also includes their identity. So in this podcast, I want to talk about something regarding, a lot of people I know want to take things to a much higher level. And I get it. And the truth is, if you don't have the confidence in yourself to be at that level, it's going to be very hard. You just don't slide into eliteness. I have a goofy saying. It was actually my father's and my uncle's. There's no such thing as perfection, but if you don't aim for it, you'll never come close. It's kind of an interesting thing. And I really get torn between that saying because I really do believe, you want to aim for perfection a lot of times. But then again, perfection, also getting obsessed with it on certain things can stop you from getting momentum or moving on. It can also paralyze you, I call it. But regarding confidence again and being elite, I look at like being elite very similar to like professional athletes. There's one thing you can't slide into or bullshit yourself into, and that's becoming a professional athlete. I think other things you might be able to slide into, depending on who your family are or your environment, wealth, could be even actors, could catch breaks, or, somebody publicly could become something, even politicians. I think you can kind of bullshit your way through a lot of things in life, but you are definitely not going to bullshit your way into becoming, say, somebody in the NFL or somebody in the NBA or Major League Baseball or hockey, whatever the case, sport, professional soccer player internationally. The competition is fierce. You will be exposed in probably about 10 seconds. Say boxing, MMA. You are not going to walk into a ring or an octagon or whatever it is and fake your way through that. You will get destroyed. You'll probably end up in the hospital. So, let me get some water here. If you want to become elite, you almost have to look at yourself as that type of athlete. Where the reason you're on the top is because basically you're better than everyone underneath you. That is just the way it is. You have to have that mindset. And I've been around a lot of athletes my whole entire life, and I love playing sports, and I was fortunate enough in my 20s to meet a professional football player that I became friends with for a while. My ex-mother-in-law was doing some real estate deals. He played for a couple different teams, including Denver and San Diego Chargers and the Broncos. And we go to I used to hang out in Italian restaurants. He'd come and visit us, and we'd eat. He'd tell me all these stories, and I love Dan Fouts. He would tell me Dan Fouts' story. He told me the best athlete he's ever seen was actually John Elway, and he had the most precision as far as quarterbacks. And then he said the fastest man he ever seen was Deion Sanders, and I think he went to, I don't want to say he went to college with Bo Jackson, but he knew Bo Jackson. So as far as a specimen goes, just in general, he said he was the most incredible specimen he's ever seen in his life. So when you talk to somebody like him, and, I met a lot of people in business as well, and back to, I don't do business with these guys, so a lot may be multimillionaires that I'm around. I don't think I've ever met a billionaire, actually, but I met some wealthy men that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I've been very fortunate to do that, and you could tell the eliteness on them, that they have a different mindset. And a lot of times that doesn't mean they're out to destroy anybody underneath them. And I think a lot of people think that wealthy people could be assholes, or they were born in the wealth, or they behave a certain way. But, they goof around and say everybody puts their leg one leg at a time. A lot of things that you do in your life are probably very similar to what very wealthy people do as well. And I know you may not believe me. You think a lot of times being elite or being extremely wealthy is only going to, like, you have a driver all day, you only have Ferraris, you live in only mansions, you travel to the most exquisite places in the world, which you may. All those things may be true. But throughout the day, what I realized being around even wealthy people or middle class people is they're doing a lot of very similar things. And what happens too, I think, with a lot of wealthy people is they separate themselves, I think, at the beginning, and they say they get a mansion and they have a gym in their house and they have this in their house, or they get this and they get this. They kind of block themselves off from society, and before you know it, I think they're lonely. And I think there's a flip side to that where a lot of wealthy people now I see are actually interacting more with people. I see it even, I live near Windermere. I live in in Metro West Orlando. So I go to a gym where there's a lot of, there's professional golfers, a lot of Orlando Magic players. Some of the people that live on the news, they all live in this area, Windermere. That's originally where like Tiger Woods used to live, Shaq lived. And you see them in the gym. And there are a lot of wealthy people, Ken Griffey Jr., all these guys. And I see even with their kids, or if they're not with their kids, they live very similar lives. They go to a lot of same restaurants that I'd go to. They work out in the same places. They go to a lot of events. And the reason I'm saying that is they're obviously very elite, a lot of these people, at whatever profession they were in. But they also, have a lot of similarities that just average people have. And a lot of them were just average Joes. And a lot of them guys, too, I think are amazing people because they really do donate a lot of their time and money to helping others. And when I think of eliteness, I don't think about it always as far as I know, like when we think elite, or me saying confidence to be elite, it's kind of like somebody saying, yeah, you got to be the president of your frat, or you got to be the president of your school, or you got to be valedictoria, or whatever they... So I think I said that correctly. I may have said that wrong. A school, you have to be in, a straight A honor student, and then you have to go on to own a huge corporation, or, be a president, VP, whatever the case may be. Which, if that's your thing, that's your thing. God bless. But I think a lot of eliteness is how you treat people. If you're elite on how you carry yourself, and again, regardless if you don't have a lot of wealth or you have wealth, it's kind of having the confidence to always feel good. But there's a difference between feeling good and feeling elite and kind of wanting to get to where you want to get to, and not being a bullshitter, manipulator, liar, and all them types of things. Now, that works as well. I did a podcast where having too much confidence, I think, sometimes can be a bad thing. Because a lot of people have all this confidence, and they actually, instead of helping themselves, hurt themselves. And I use for an example, just one of them is people who murder other people and think they're going to get away with it. They have that much confidence in themselves to think, hey, I'm going to get away with this. And then before you know it, they spend the rest of their life in prison. I feel like saying to those people, listen, you're a little overconfident. This isn't what you should be doing. For one, you don't want to hurt other people. But the other thing is, confidence can hurt you. Right? And when you want to be elite, I think a lot of times, or building up confidence, I think a lot of people are programmed to say, hey, fake it till you make it, right? The famous saying, if you don't believe you're going to be that, if you don't pretend you're not that now, or all these things. But if you want to be elite in something, it's really hard to pretend you're a multimillionaire when you're not. It's hard to pretend you're running a corporation when you're not, or a company, or whatever the case may be. But there's nothing wrong with dreaming or aiming for that, because I believe it takes small steps, consistent steps to get to wherever you want to get to. Very few people go from one extreme and jump to another. When you want to become elite, usually, let's just take athletics again, you don't go from grade school or Pop Warner football all of a sudden to the NFL. It takes time. I know you have to grow physically, but even regarding owning your own company, now if you win the lotto, that's different. But most people, a lot of times you win the lotto, are just as broke in X amount of years because they don't know how to handle their finances. But becoming elite and learning to have that confidence, all those things have to come together, and they're going to take time. Now, you may have a bad attitude and be a tough, guy who says, I'm going to kick it in the ass and No one's going to stop me. Listen, God bless you. That's good for you. Go with it. But you got to realize, too, it's not just about your attitude. It's always about making the right decision at the right time, putting yourself in the right place at the right time to truly, I think, become elite. And it's also knowing how to work through different people to help maneuver to get you to where you want to be. Most likely, no matter who you are, to become elite, you are going to have to maneuver your way through a lot of people, right? And that doesn't mean you have to be above those people or use different people. What I'm trying to say in this case is you just have to understand people. If you want to run a company, right, you have to understand what people, how to inspire people, why they would work for you, how to, not only make, you got to learn, it's not only about you making money, how are they going to survive, right? All these different types of things. And to do that, to become elite, it's really not only a mindset, it's about learning. You've got to learn about really what you want to achieve, but how to do it the right way a lot of times. Now, we're all going to fail. There's no question about that on many different levels. But try to, this is one thing I think I've blown over the years. I never really got around someone to coach me the way I should have, like to the next level. And I think that even goes back to sports. I had Nick Ballantyre when I went to Nick Ballantyre Academy, a tennis academy. I didn't have him as a personal coach by any means, but I went there. There was some great coaching there, and I learned that when I was playing tennis at a higher level, how important the right coach is for you. And when I, after that, then I went and did some other sports. But then I graduated high school, and I just went and did my own thing. And then when I wanted to go make films and write books and all these different types of things, I really didn't have any mentors. For the most part, I had a couple, but I never really learned from the best or people that were really knowledgeable, I guess you could say. I just struggled through it all. I think my ego was too big to ask for help, or I was too caught up at that point in time to say, hey, I don't need any help, or I want to do it my way. It's my way or the highway, and all that type of shit. But I'm here to tell you, if you have the opportunity to be around people that are doing what you love to do and they're successful and they're good, honest people, just ask them for help. Now, they may charge you a consulting fee, or they may charge you, who knows. But a lot may not. And you'd be shocked, because somebody could tell you something in one discussion or one email that could save you 10 years of heartache. And I'm not kidding. They can set you in different directions. And if you look at a lot of people that have succeeded really to an elite status, they had these mentors, they had these coaches, they had people that helped them. So, you just, again, you have to have the confidence in yourself to understand that as confident as you are in believing in yourself, you are also confident enough to ask for help when you need it. Okay? So that's really what this podcast is about. It's about taking an honest approach with yourself and understanding who you truly are. But once you come to the decision you want to become something very elite, in my opinion, this is just, again, my opinion, and you may argue with me all day, you need that confidence. And people also need to be confident in who you are as a person. Do they trust you? Are you shady? Because a lot of people love helping other people, but a lot of times they don't help people, I'm just going to tell you, because they think they're either shady, or they may even test people to see if they can handle them, going through certain things, even though you may not even like that, or may test you. Again, if you're going to plan on being elite in anything, you're most likely, again, you are going to go through the hardest, probably the biggest hurdles, because that's what becoming elite's about. If it was easy to be elite, you wouldn't have to really go through much. But what separates the elite from everyone else is they were able to endure whatever came to them. It'd be very similar to, say, a Navy SEAL or anyone else. That's another high level. They put them through so much. For them, if you have, say, 400, I don't know how many people try out to be a Navy SEAL, and those guys are the elite of the elite, trying out to be a SEAL, and then you have to find even the elite of the elite, the elite. Like you just have to keep weeding through people, which is amazing. And that's the kind of mindset you have to have is, you keep moving forward, and a lot of people, you may not even see this, are being eliminated or being, just not making it. You have to have the mindset that I am going to make it. And when you're in certain things like, say, the SEALs or on a team, and say you played sports, and as you know, if you played on them, and then you had an all-star team, right? And then they all came together, and then that all-star team would play other all-star teams. You could even, whatever it is, like even as a kid, the World Series, the Kids World Series. Some team or people just keep rising to the top, right? And that's you independently, even though you may not be on a team or even at work on a team. You just have to have the mindset that you are moving up, and everybody else is kind of, either they're matching you or they're falling, and that's not a bad thing. But you have to have that mindset where you just keep winning. You have to keep moving forward, I call it. So, yeah, I'm going to basically leave it at that. But yes, please, if you do not want to be somebody, if you want to be elite, that kind of does, and I talked about this before on my podcast, like 2 steps forward, 1 back, then 1 forward, 2 back, 1 sideways, 1 back, 1 forward. All these things where a lot of people get stuck, or they're bullshitting themselves thinking they're elite when you're really not. There's always room to grow, and there's always room to prosper, I guess you could say. So I'm going to wrap it up there. If you'd like, again, check out my website, richcelenza.com. I have also a YouTube channel. I put a lot of things up there regarding places I love to go to all over North America. And I'm going to actually be going up to Hawaii next week, so that'll be cool too. I'll do some videos there, but I do my favorite restaurants, gyms. I do gym tours. I also give advice on fitness and other things as well. So you can check that out. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as well. All right? So yeah, if you're elite, kick it in the ass, as I like to say. Don't let anybody make you think you can't be something incredible. All right, don't let anybody, if anybody says that to you, just say, go fuck yourself. As I like to say, when people say no, you say next. You need to learn to move on, move forward. And yeah, that's it. If you are traveling, safe travels.